and welcome once again to the Young Achievers Show with me, your host, yes, Michaela Ade. We have an amazing guest. Last episode was an amazing one with our new Guinness World Record holder, Chelsea Abigail also. Today, we have Mr. Kekeli Dorkenoo, yeah, and I will allow him to introduce himself so you get to know him. How are you doing, Mr. Kekeli?
I'm very good, Michaela. Thank you for having me, you and your team. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for making it. Yeah. So please tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I answer to the name Kekeli Dorkenoo. And in our simple settings, people call me Kelly the Polymath. Some call me the celebrity startup consultant. Some call me the e-health and a whole lot of things. But in simple terms, Kekeli is a leader, certified Germany Africa startup consultant. He's also the founder of Keldor Global Innovation, an ecosystem startup building organization in Ghana. So I come with 3 Dean's List awards from RMU. I'm also a Magna Cum Laude honors holder currently. So yeah, that's a little brief introduction about myself.
Okay. So, can you tell us about your journey into startup ecosystem, and what inspired you, to be, I'll say, a master in very or diverse industries? Or let me call it a polymath.
Yes, yeah. Indeed. I've really been getting these questions a lot, but I've never answered it, so I think your media outlet will be the first for me to answer. Okay, so my journey started as a young child. I wanted to be a medical doctor. I grew up getting confused. I developed interest in ships. Then when I got to university, I just lost my way, completed. And whilst I was working as a medical accountant, that was when I realized that people were winning millions of dollars in pitching. That was the first time I heard about pitching. So I realized that people were just pitching and getting grants. And for me, growing up, I always wanted to buy a Rolls Royce. And I like simple things. So I saw startup to be the avenue for me to get that money to buy a Rolls Royce in the easiest possible way. So that was the reality of how I started getting into startups. Now, what made me develop the interest was this. I realized that in Ghana, we have a lot of pressing issues, and the SDGs are there, but people are not able to actually navigate their solutions or ideas to be able to, tackle some of these SDG solutions. That is when I realized that, no, startups have that potential, because startups can fail, but the loss of failure is actually, minimal. So that was what made me get interested in startups.
Okay, can you give us more information about your the areas that you are being called a polymath? That is blue economy, sustainability, and the others.
Yes. So I'll start with my core competence. My core competence is with e-health. Some people call it digital health, but e-health is broader. It's a broader term. I'm also into fintech. I have expertise in circular economy, what some people call climate action. I also have expertise in edutech, educational technology startups, and then I also have NGO or philanthropy skills where we do advocacy, trying to help the girl child and STEM education, just to name a few. So that's basically, in terms of diverse skills, these are the various places that I am.
So what are the key turning points in your career that led you to become a master of all these diverse industries? What are the key elements that influenced your career?
Okay, so some of the key elements, for me, my story is quite different, I think the key turning point started with national service. I wanted to do my national service at Legal Aid, Ghana Legal Aid, because I loved law at a point too. I was a confused person. Unfortunately, national service gave me Ayalulu. I was like, what am I going to do there, right? So I was like, hell no, I'm not going to do it. And I calculated, I realized that they are going to pay me 559. I checked how much I paid for a degree, and I realized that no, this is not for me. So that became the first turning point. How do I make my own money without stress? I'm not ready to go and do a provision store. I'm not ready to go and do any kind of, hustling work. You can see me, I'm not really tall. So I realized that startups became, that first point. And then the next turning point came when the German ambassador, His Excellency Daniel Crow, when he actually told me that I was really doing well at the German Fallen Walls Lab. I emerged first runner-up. Right after German Fallen Walls Lab, German Exit Fund came in. Right after Exit Fund, Bayer Agorize came in. So I would say that the turning point came from actually when I actually fell. I wouldn't say not getting where I wanted for my national service was a failure, but I would say that was the first turning point for me, wanting to do something for myself.
and really shows that we've come this far. You didn't start from yesterday.
Yeah, by God's grace.
Okay, were there any challenges that you faced when, as you ventured into these diverse industries? Were there any challenges, and how were you able to solve up against these challenges?
Okay, so usually, for most people in this ecosystem, when you ask them the challenges, they always tell you, oh, financial support, financial support. Mine was actually different because, like I said, I was a polymath, so I had diverse skills. I already knew what I was going to do before doing it. Now, most of my challenges came from external factors. What do I mean by that? You go for a pitching event, sometimes you are the winner, but because the pitching event has a preference or soft spot for a particular industry, you end up being first runner-up. They give it to someone else. Those are some of the challenges. Again, I also felt like our Ghanaian, you get me, the stakeholders are not really pushing some of the youth to be able to, you get me, to reach their maximum potential. So if you check my award profile, majority of my awards recognition came from Europe and abroad, not Ghana. And I feel like in Ghana too, it's like we celebrate mediocrity, or should I say in our African settings, we celebrate mediocrity. It's like the more suffered you look, the more you suffered to get something. That is when we want to reward you. Just because this person didn't go through that pain, they feel like, no, you know, you have to be in the industry for so many years, you have to do this. No, it shouldn't be that way. So I think my challenges mostly came from external factors, from stakeholders, and the lack of industrial support in our African setting.
What do you think should be done so that this thing that you talk about how you must suffer, you must hear that you have suffered a lot before people can come to you? What do you think should be a solution to that? So that maybe you may have gone through that, but others who will come and try and go through the path you've gone will not also go through that. What do you think should be a solution?
Yeah, so the first point is the cultural mindset. You see, you have to understand that it's a cultural mindset. In Africa, it is assumed you must suffer in life before you achieve something. So maybe we can start from the grassroots, where we can start teaching young kids that, look, technology has advanced. These days, you don't have to try your best and cram books and study hard and go to libraries and go through the manual process of doing things. It is okay to go for the shortcut. People always tend to make things look like a shortcut is a bad thing. It's not so. We, as Africans, we're always looking at working hard. No, you must work smart. I am the laziest human being you can ever meet. I don't work hard, I work smart. So I think the cultural mindset being changed, the educational curricula, capturing the fact that, look, times have changed. Let's look at smart working. And also maybe sometimes the audience must be able to hold some of these stakeholders, you get me, accountable. What do I mean by that? We have stakeholders organizing pitching events, innovation events. Then you realize that the selected participants don't come from, you get me, the real background that they really want to. You have stakeholders, I wouldn't mention names to avoid any legal repercussions, but we have stakeholders organizing programs that they want to invest about $10,000, $20,000 into, you get me, startups or entrepreneurs trying to impact life. And you go and check, it's like they recycle the same old people. The people who deserve it don't even get it. All you hear is because this person has been in the industry 10 years and things, he has suffered, let us reward. Someone comes 1 year, does better, we say no, let us allow the person. So I think the stakeholders too need to really do their best, and the audience, the public, the citizens, let's hold them accountable when the person who deserves the opportunity is not given the opportunity. Let us call the stakeholders, you get me, to order. I think that would really do it.
How did you feel when you were selected as a finalist for the ASEB Awards?
Okay, so I was coming from Kumasi. I was in the, how do you call that bus? STC bus. That was my first time in Kumasi, so I was already tired. And immediately I saw that, you get me, it's like I just got some form of, upliftment. And yeah, so I went to chill that night as usual. For me, I'm more of a youth person, so I went to chill a lot. So I would say that immediately I realized that, you get me, I was part of the top 5 finalists. The first feeling was a feeling of upliftment, a source of motivation. I felt like, okay, my work has been recognized not just in Ghana, not in West Africa, but the entire Africa. Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell me the projects that helped you gain this recognition?
Okay, so every category and its requirements. So to you to be a top 5, for you to even be a nominee for that category, you need to have impacted at least a minimum of 5 African countries. You should have been able to mentor people in 5 different African countries. You should have been able to lead some startups to establish themselves. You should have been able to coach a lot of people to become who they are. So those were the key categories that the people were looking out for. And one last ingredient is they were not looking at people who make noise about their achievements. They were not looking at people who are all over the place. No, they were looking at the people who have really impacted people in their little ways.
How do you feel about this award category that you've been nominated for, and does it have any future tendencies of having maybe a change on your future endeavors?
Indeed, when I was announcing it on LinkedIn, my caption was the start down journey, hope for the unheard. So imagine a finalist and possibly winning would really make me get the global recognition that I needed, because I'll be wearing the crown for the entire Africa.
Wow.
What is going to happen is this is going to inspire the youth. They are going to feel like, okay, indeed, if someone has been able to do this, being the only Ghanaian in this category, I can also do better. Also, this opportunity comes with powerful networking, you get me? So I can leverage that network to also help the youth, whereby as a startup ecosystem builder, you need to, make some phone calls, you need to prepare projects, you need to connect them to opportunities, grants all over the world. So wearing the crown of imagine the winner of this very category is going to give me all these opportunities.
Okay, can you give us more information about this award scheme? ASEB, that is a African
Startup Ecosystem Builder Award.
Okay, can you give us more information about this award scheme and also more about the category you were nominated for?
Okay, so the ASEB Awards, Africa Startup Ecosystem Builders Awards, is organized by Set Up a Startup, which is in South Africa, supported by Brand South Africa, which is the South African government. Okay, it was founded by Kevin Ayaba, with various board of advisors and board of governors in powerful, places. So I think they are in the 4th edition or 3rd edition currently. Every year it's organized in one country, and it is focused on honoring the ecosystem builders. When we say ecosystem builders, they are not the startups themselves. They are the people who make the startups who they are, the media bodies, the granting bodies, the innovation hubs, the capacity building bodies, all the various stakeholders who make startups who they are the ones being recognized. Now, in terms of the categories, there are 30 categories. So we have the Ecosystem Champion Builder of the Year, which is going to an organization. We have the media support, youth connecting, and so on and so forth. But most of them are organizations. So when it comes to individual ones, that's the one Youth Ecosystem Champion Builder of the Year. Someone who has committed to building youth startups across a minimum of 5 countries. I stand at 7. My opponents too have been doing quite a lot of work, and they didn't even include the ones you've impacted outside Africa. So that's what was required for that category.
And has any Ghanaian nominated, or are the first Ghanaian to be nominated in this category?
Okay, I wouldn't know right now. As I wouldn't know, because when you are nominated, they email you. You give your approval and consent that you can do your investigation on me. So you wouldn't know who were the 2,000 nominees were at first, but it's the finalists that you get to know. But indeed, I know one Ghanaian organization that was very powerful, but didn't make it to the finalists. Yeah.
So what actually, you were a polymath, but what actually do you do, and what is its impact on our society?
Okay, so for you to get exactly what I do, basically what I do is startup ecosystem building. Okay. Aside that, I do e-health, where I develop e-health innovations, climate change innovations to fintech. Basically, I do anything innovational to solve problems in our society. I do it. So I'll highlight a few later. But for you to get what I do and its impact in our society, take it this way. You have a woman doing an SME business, all right? She doesn't even know basic accounting, how to bookmark, not bookmark, we call it bookkeeping, you get me, how to keep accounts, how to do turnover and things. But yet, you realize that the Europeans have grants allocated for some of these SMEs. We have startup. People have nice ideas to solve problems in their society, but they don't know how to go about it. Some people don't even know what is e-health. Some people don't even know what is climate action. Some people don't even know what is circular economy. Even when you mention TVET, some people are stuck at the old mindset of, just being vocational, me going to sew things. You get me? So the problem is, the reason why they don't know is not due to lack of knowledge, but the whole point is there is no proper channel for them to access, you get me, opportunities. So people like me, we bring the opportunities to their doorstep, not leave them there. We help them and develop them to be able to, get me, scale up their startups and businesses. So for instance, I met one lady who was doing plantain chips. She called it plantain crisp. I call it plantain chips. As an ecosystem builder, we rebranded, started using eco-friendly packaging for her products, and today as I speak with you, even the Business and Financial Times just featured her. Wow. She's currently being considered for a 1 million cedis grant from the European Union. How does, you get me, a plantain chips producer or cookie producer reach this far? It's due to the ecosystem builders. We have issues in Galamsey communities. I have a project called Chidi Project. What I'm looking out to do is picking up the youth in these deprived mining areas, empowering them with startup development skills, then connect them to grants so that they can develop climate health solutions to the pressing challenges, you get me, in their communities. So that's just a little about the impact that society is going to get. Now, to highlight on some of my projects, last year, 2023, I have a project called Green Fabrics, which is looking at ending childhood cancer through climate action. It's basically recycling plastics, right? So it has the segregation training, advocacy, and the rest. And it was featured in UNO's Germany publication last year. So basically what's going to happen is, through that project, the primary school students would grow up knowing that you have to segregate your waste and not burn them. I also have the U4D app, which is one of my prime products. It is a digital e-health project focused on persons living with non-communicable disease, which is going to reduce the mortality rate by 10% each year. So basically what I'm doing is going to have financial, you get me, impact on society, because as you are saving lives, as you are improving people's health, they can work well. It's also going to give economic empowerment, because I give startup consultancies, mentorship, coaching. And one thing about me is I have one policy. If you come under me within 1 month, I don't elevate you, then there's something wrong. I let you go. So through that, there's that economic empowerment, and then by 2030, I am sure I can help us achieve the SDGs, the 17 SDGs set by the United Nations.
Speaking about
going to end a lot. Now, when people hear innovation, the assumption that it is always digital. That's not the case. Innovation is basically anything that's new from the norm. This straw is an innovation, but it has nothing IT related to it. This glass is an innovation. Car, shoes, eco-friendly shoes, all those things are innovation. Now you realize that the sustainable development goals we are trying to achieve, they need something new. They need new solutions, because the problems have been with us all this while. So for you to be able to solve, let's say, a problem of maybe good health, you need an innovation called e-health. Kekeli Global develops an e-health solution that's going to empower with good health. When it comes to good education or educational access, Kekeli Global develops not just any regular educational innovation, but rather gives you one that even people with disability, you get me, can also use. So based on doing this, it's going to help us to achieve the SDGs. Now, aside that, one other unique selling point about my company is we are not saying that because you want to achieve no poverty, just do one thing to achieve no poverty. No. We always try to find an intersection between the SDGs, okay? So there's climate action, there's lung cancer or childhood cancer. How do we mix the two SDGs to, you get me, achieve them at a go? So whatever innovation will come up, you will realize that it's able to champion climate action and then at the same time champion good health. So to sum up when it comes to that question is this. In using innovation is the only way we can improve our society, okay? When COVID came, the blue economy, the marine industry came to a halt. What we started then doing was to use drones to deliver vaccines. Innovation. So innovation is the goal, is the major ingredient that we need to be able to achieve the SDGs.
So about you using your recognition through these awards nomination to get contracts for university and innovation hubs, how are you going about it?
Okay, so currently I'm in talks with my alma mater. We are trying to develop an innovation hub for the institution to help students to also get access to opportunities. And like I mentioned, with this award, you get to wear the crown for the whole Africa, which comes with powerful networks, you get me, and reputable, not just you getting access to the networks, but it adds to your credibility that indeed you understand you are someone committed to the youth. So using these networks, I'll be able to get grants and opportunities to push some of these agendas in various universities in Ghana. So in simple terms, you realize that Ashesi keeps going far because they have used internally generated funds to fund their innovation hubs. So basically, they have the powerful people already who are using their networks to help the students. That is what I'm looking out to do. But I'm looking at helping that young person in the deprived community. That young person I don't want to mention, you get me names, but that young person who never got the chance to go to your university. Those are the people I'm looking out for to really help him in Ghana and Africa.
Speaking about your alma mater, please can we know which alma mater specifically?
Okay, Regional Maritime University.
Oh, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about Regional Maritime University?
Okay, so Regional Maritime University is the only marine university in, I think, the whole West Africa. Okay, so basically anything of the blue economy, marine shipping, captain, nautical engineering, mechanical engineering, welding, anything related to the marine industry, that's the only university you can go to. They also have on and offshore logistics programs, TVET programs, but they are all basically related to the marine industry. So I spent 4 years over there. It was a very good experience, to be honest with you. The population was quite small, and I like that kind of small settings, and it's very good. So it really impacted me a lot.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, from your story, I got to know that you wanted to give up.
Yes.
Because of lack of support and motivation.
Yes.
What happened and how were you able to come out of it?
Okay, I can assure you, just like a lady would give up on a guy she loves and still go back to him because of love, I would say that me trying to give up in this startup industry is countless. The number of times I wanted to give up. Mm-hmm. Like I said, sometimes you go for a patient contest, which by winning is going to give you a grant to help champion what you are trying to do. You end up being first runner-up simply because the organizing body has a preference for a particular SDG, or you get me, something that is not pressing at that moment. So sometimes you feel like, what is all this? Let me just give up. When the day that the award came up, the day that the finalist result came out, I was on the verge of giving up as an ecosystem builder. What do I mean? The level of ungratefulness in this ecosystem or startup industry is very high. Most startups, if you check, they are who they are because someone granted them something for free. They give them capacity building for free, media publicity for free. They always give them something for free. But they keep forgetting that, nothing is actually free in the world. When people empower you, you get something. It's nice to commit a certain percentage, you get me, to the people who did it for you for free, for them to also help upcoming people. So coming from Kumasi, I had an incident where, you get me, 2 people that I've mentored were doing some back and forth, you get me, with their donations to a charity cause that we're trying to do. So that felt like, okay, it's like Ghana precisely, I would just say it point blank, working in Ghana and working with Ghanaians has always been very difficult. Things you do for a Ghanaian, it will end up with ungratefulness stories. You do it for an European, and before you realize, they are posting you all over the place. Aspire Leadership Institute in the United States, when they heard of me being a finalist, what they did was they sent a newsletter to all the over 30,000 Aspire alumni.
Wow. I'm
seriously telling you. They even want to make me the country manager for Aspire Leadership Institute. That's it, because the point is they are grateful. They don't need to be grateful to me, but they are grateful. But when it comes to our Ghanaian setting, their motivation is not there. You push people up the ladder for free. Things you should be charging thousands of dollars, you do it for free. They get the everything that they need, and now it's time to honor their side, and you have problems. You have some people that are always called idiots, excuse me to use that language. They bring all sorts of contracts to you. They tell you, oh, this is clean, this is ready. You put in your best, you use your connections in Europe, and before you realize, the documents they give you is stolen. The idea is stolen. Some of them are not even ready. I've had issues with most of my powerful networks simply because I was trying to help Ghanaian startups. So that was like the last straw to break the camel's back, as they always say. But when the finalist result came in, I felt like, okay. And the caption of that email read, "We are honoring those who are unheard."
Wow.
I've had close relations with the shoemaker girl. If you check her book, she acknowledged me inside.
Wow.
So she's one of the people I would say they are always grateful. I've had encounters with Binas Prime, TGLC, UBC Sauda Lift in Canada. They are all grateful. But it's like there were some people that in Ghana you were really pushing up, hoping that you get these people become powerful people to help others, and they back out. So those was one of the points that actually wanted to give up. And like I mentioned, the stakeholders, the support for upcoming startups is very bad. And when I say support, it's not the grant, okay? It is the fairness and ease of accessing some of these grants and opportunities. You can put in your best for 6 months. They will end up giving it to someone who already has been getting millions of dollars. You go for a pitching. I've mentored people who went for pitching events, and let's say the price was $3,000, and you see someone who has secured venture capital funding of almost $100,000 pitching against some 18-20-year-old. So you've given the opportunity, all right, but at the end of the day, you are creating a bigger problem than even the solution you are giving itself. That was some of the challenges I faced. Yes.
You mentioned something about the ungrateful character of Ghanaians and lack of help or support for startups. What do you think should be done to make this not happen, or maybe it should die down?
Okay, so to first of all make it clear so that our listeners don't get the wrong picture, okay? I wouldn't say it's an ungrateful character of Ghanaians, okay? It is the culture of what the accounts call it, me pese, me nkuminya, or something that they always say, okay? It is the culture, not really a character. So it can be changed. Culture is diverse. It can be changed, but it's like that is where we are today. So in terms of working around it, I feel innovation hubs, during their capacity building training for some of these startups, they should always show them that, look, in this ecosystem you need to honor certain commitments to, you get me, certain stakeholders and partners to you get me, to survive. Maybe when they teach them at that point, they would be able to grow up with that, you understand me, culture. Again, one other thing I can also say to ecosystem builders like myself is never ever back down on signing contracts with mentees. You understand? Yes, you are doing something for free, but there should be a contract. There should be a way they give back to society. Even in Europe, we have corporate social responsibilities. We have ESG goals, so it doesn't make you a bad person. Okay. And so that people don't also feel like I'm pushing for mentors to always look at monetizing mentorship. What I can say to help people get that clear is this. Mentors should also be very clear in what they are trying to do. What do I mean? Do not be entitled. Okay. If the plan is to help someone so that when they get money or anything, they will bring you something, or they will definitely bring something back to you, make it clear, put that in writing, sign it. Don't feel like, okay, because I'm doing this, I haven't signed anything for free with the person. I'm assuming that when the person succeeds, he will bring something back. By doing that, I think we would all be on the same page. And startups who are seeking support, when they are seeking support, they should make it clear. I want this as a pro bono. I want this for free. And if possible, it doesn't hurt anything to acknowledge people. You understand me? So I think these are some of the things we can put in place. The first one is educating the people from the onset. Legalization. Put things in writing. Sign documents. To hold people, you get me, accountable. And then the third one is, let's take out the entitlement. If you are doing it pro bono, make it clear. If you are doing it where you have future intentions of taking remunerations from them, make that also clear.
Yeah. So, as the future is ahead of us,
yeah.
What looking forward, what vision you have for industries, and what impact or legacy you want to leave behind?
Okay, so my biggest legacy, I would say, would be diversity. Okay, what do I mean by that? I came from a maritime background, ended up doing all sorts of things in different fields, and at the end of the day, I was successful. I am someone who is more of a lone wolf. I don't like doing things with people in teams and groups. We have people like me, and we've always created the impression that, because you walk alone, you can't do it alone. No, I am trying to bring diversity, where I mean, regardless of your skills, regardless of your flaws, there is always something you can achieve in this industry. That is the legacy I'm bringing on board. And for me, I'm bringing another legacy of smartness or smart work. We don't always have to work hard. We don't have to go through the process, the long process. Let's look at results. Let's look at, how fast and smart we can do things. That is the legacy I want to leave behind for the youth who is on head, the youth with dreams. Yes.
Yeah, so in your line of work, is there support you receive? Are there companies or industries that collaborate with you for the smoothness of your work?
Oh yes. I have a lot of collaborations with Star Africa, Startup Germany. I have collaborations with Upcycle It, which is coming up. I have collaborations with Digital Health Rwanda. So indeed, there are a lot of, collaborations, collaborative supports that you get from USA and beyond. Those beyond are actually more than those from Ghana. And in terms of funding, majority of my funding came from my dad and myself, from our own, internally generated funds, and our own company that funds Kekeli Global Innovations as well.
Any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, or maybe somebody who may be an aspiring polymath like you?
Okay, so 3 key advice. Okay, if you can start small, start small. If you can start big, start big. There's nothing wrong with it. Secondly, you need to integrate diversity in your unique selling point, what we call the moats, to ensure that your business will be sustainable. Because now, due to ChatGPT, any idea you have, someone can also have that same idea. So in order for you to stand out, to be different, look at being diverse, integrate new things, multiple SDGs to stand out. That's another advice. And then the third advice I can give to budding entrepreneurs is to invest in skills acquisition. I didn't come this far just by being there. No, I acquired the skills. I studied. I worked in diverse fields, automobiles, you name it, to be able to become who I am. So these are my 3 advices to the youth. 1, look at diversity. 2, don't look at starting big. You can start small if you want. Start free, social media, pro bono. You do whatever you think you can. And then last but never the least, look out for empowering yourself through skills acquisition.
Please, are you single? Maybe your future wife will be looking at you.
Oh, I'm single.
You are single?
Yes, please.
Oh.
I'm single.
So please, he's single, eh?
Yes.
Please, he's single and searching. So if you have found him here, please. Yeah, so before that, please, can you give us your social media handles? Maybe the lady that we write for you will be, we need to text.
Okay.
Or industries and people will be interested
in
getting knowledge from you. Because listening to you here, I myself have learned so much.
Yeah.
So please, give us your.
So first of all, I'm available on all social media handles as Kekeli Dorkenoo. I don't use any nicknames whatsoever. Okay. Or if you Google me, all my social media handles would appear. My organization, Kekeli Global Innovations, is also available on all social media handles, even including TikTok, Twitter, you name it. So you can just search, book an appointment, send in a message or anything. You can also visit our website, www.keldocglobal.com. And don't be shy, feel free to get in touch. Yeah.
As you said, don't be shy, feel free. He doesn't bite. I really enjoyed this interview. I did as well. So we've come to another end, another episode on the Young Achiever Show. Keep following us on Ghana News Guide on X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Catch you later, another time. Bye-bye.